7-rider breakaway clear for so much of the day. He's going to be the last man standing. Now, I don't think that Nairo Quintana is going to be able to hang on clear out front, because he's not really established much of an advantage. Got to the front, got off the front, but didn't really gain too much. Vendrame, oh, can he survive another 2.5 kilometers? It looks like it might be a little bit too far.
Yeah, a bit too much. If you're having trouble now, it's only going to get worse. It's 7.5 kilometres to go from the top of the climb, and it's going to be around 8 minutes of racing, if that, when they come off the top. It's not hugely technical. And now De Versnes, maybe no surprise, finally managed to distance Dries de Bont. De Versnes, well, it's for a reason he was the best classified rider in this breakaway at 122 down at the start of the day, and a lot higher up in the classification than the rest of the riders with him. And it's because of this. He is just a much stronger climber than the rest, so he pushes on. But I'm just wondering, well, I'm not really wondering, I know it's too late. I think he's just should have done this a bit earlier on the climb and laid it all out there and just see if he can get rid of them and push on. With the gap down to 21 seconds now, with 9.5 kilometres to go, still 2k to the top of the climb for De Versnes.
That's savage stuff, isn't it? They're at the end of their tether. For Ursulan and Galglivar, they're winding their way around the road, just trying to stay on their bike. Dries de Bont as well is in a similar world of hurt. De Versnes looks a lot more in control of his effort, and certainly these riders too. Del Toro towards the front for the UAE Team Emirates squad as they roll across the top of that particularly challenging sector. We've got to go back up again before we reach the top of this climb, but looking at his ease, as if that's taken absolutely nothing out of him whatsoever. Juan Ayuso second in line. Tom Pidcock welded to his tail, as if that's the rider I need to watch out for here today. And Mathieu van der Poel as well. Looks like he's climbing very well indeed, and was very, very close to the front.
Yeah, he's climbing incredibly. I said really all the specialist climbers. Then the next shot we see, Mathieu van der Poel, who put himself right in the middle of all those specialist climbers. He looks sensational.
He can sprint a bit too. How many sprinters are left in there? How many riders will still contest? It's quite a big peloton still involved. They're running out of opportunities to make the difference, to create a separation, to whittle this one down, as de Bont and Tarozzi, their resistance is finally broken. Well, Tarozzi isn't going to give in just yet, and he'll trying to stay on top of his effort, maybe, just maybe, to stay with this group close to the final 1,300 metres and maybe just get back on. But the man in that green jersey, he's added surely enough points to take the title, as the other riders now from the main peloton with a different agenda don't even pay him any credit whatsoever.
Bottom of screen, Maglia Azzurra,
surprise.
the blue jersey. Oh, Ben Healy in trouble. Filippo Ganna still in the group.
Well, Ganna is, but Ben Healy isn't. After all his attacking over the last couple of days in the cold weather conditions and the wind and rain, well, Ben Healy, when he arrives onto the climbs, maybe just the gradient getting a little bit too steep, down to 17 kilometres per hour, double-digit stuff here. And we've come through a really, really tough sector, but it's sort of gone down and back up again. And this still a kilometre of this for Ben Healy, riding GC this week. His teammate is still in there in Richard Carapaz. But a difficult moment for Ben Healy in his with his dreams of glory this week in Tirreno-Adriatico. Top of the mountain beckons, the Montorolo, the final classified climb of the day. What about Filippo Ganna? Absolutely flying. The overall race leader, the Maglia Azzurra, is still there, flying by his standards. I think flying by anyone's standards. It's down to a select group of about 25 riders in there, and the big man still among them.
A little bit more, maybe 40 odd riders, and about 8 riders still behind Filippo Ganna, who's just doubling down on the effort when he gets to those steep sections. He's just hanging on to them at the moment, and it seems the pace is just very slightly eased, as has the gradient at this point, with Isaac Del Toro leading them along, and Filippo Ganna doing a very, very good job of surviving this climb. But what I see as a real possibility when we get to the top of this climb, Declan, is that Tom Pidcock, and possibly with Mathieu van der Poel in tow, they could really take this descent on and do some major damage to other GC riders. And Pidcock, we've seen the way he can go downhill when he wants to go on the move, and he would be very hard to track, and then of course very hard to catch as well. But De Versnes is doing a phenomenal job, absolutely terrific ride by Diversnes, still holding 26 seconds on the peloton, and he's just a matter of 300 metres from the top of the climb, sharp descent, and then the drag towards the finish through the last few kilometres. They haven't got him yet, and it's going to be a tough job to get him.
Yeah, Tarozzi hasn't given up on this one either, nor indeed has Dries de Bont, because the gradient has eased just a touch, just a fraction, and the pace has eased just enough. It's the sort of power to weight ratio suits riders at different gradients, doesn't it, different percentage levels, and it looks as if it's just come back a little bit towards de Bont and Tarozzi, despite the fatigue for this man out front. Frederik Diversnes, fine form of late, and it looks like it's going to be good enough to get him up and over the Monterolo and into the descent at the head of the field. And with just a handful of seconds, but, well, 26 seconds, would it be enough? Here comes Filippo Ganna, look at this, up around the outside, the overall race leader. I'm in command of this bike race, I'm in blue, take it from me.
Well, what a show by Filippo Ganna, and I think it's been, although it's been hard and a lot of the peloton's missing, this is what hasn't happened yet. Ayuso now with an acceleration over the top. He wants to lead onto the descent, Ayuso, and it's also, well, who else is going over? Pidcock. He wants to lead the descent. What I spoke about, tackling the descent from the front, that is what he wants. And Ganna there in third wheel.
Ganna right there as well, super impressive. Is it Anders Halland Johansson? Maybe we'll just find out exactly who that Uno X rider is. They're having a great day, and it's Laurens de Plus as well, just trying to attach himself. But what about that performance from Filippo Ganna? Worked his way up and around the outside at a key and critical moment, recognising that it was about to happen, knew he needed to be in prime position, and Pidcock it is that wants to take it on. Well, he's pretty good at descending. The world of cycling knows all about that, and they'll want to stay as close as they possibly can to Tom Pidcock on this descent. They've seen his performances and how he picks out a great line, sometimes a little bit different to other riders as well, and how he sort of a late turn in very often, and well, they'll watch with fascination. Look at Ganna, can't stay with them.
No, he can't. The gaps are opening up. Tom Pidcock diving down. Ayuso glued to his wheel and following the exact lines of Tom Pidcock. Ganna is going to rely on brute strength and gravity being his friend on this side of the mountain to ride his way back into the wheel. But Pidcock, he's hitting every apex. He's really letting it hang out.
Great racing action going on in France as well as Italy right now. Down to the closing stages of Paris-Nice. And that's available on TNT Sports 3 at the moment. The wind and the rain have been a factor throughout the day in Paris-Nice. Rob and Sean on duty to take you through the final 10 kilometres. Will the break hang on? Well, more particularly, what's going to happen in this one as Tom Pidcock is leading Juan Ayuso down the mountain. That's good news for both of those riders. Ganna has some work to do. I think the less technical, the better for him in his efforts to try and get back on terms.
What he's able to do now, Filippo Ganna, he sort of lost a few lengths. He's maybe 20, 25 metres behind, but he can look up and he can gauge what the corner's going to be like and then follow the lines of Tom Pidcock, albeit at a distance. But look at him now, just a bigger rider, able to just get aero and use his weight to drive him down the hill. 5k to go for Diversnes, and they've still got a lot of riding to do to catch this man enjoying the steep downhills, but Tom Pidcock eating into this gap with his descending ability. There it is on the road. Diversnes right of screen. Pidcock, Ayuso. Ganna's dropped back. I wonder if he has. It's Ciccone now who's on the front of the rest. It was along with Tiberi and Pello Bilbao, but Ganna was dropping back really rapidly. I wonder if he does have a mechanical issue.
Well, let's have a look. Was he just looking to slot back in on the tail of a teammate, or has he hit some sort of a problem? That would not exactly be an ideal time to get a puncture on such a technical and demanding descent, and indeed so close to the finish with the very little likelihood of getting any team car assistance. They're going to be some way back the hill right now. Looks okay.
No, he slotted in. Yeah, the fact that we didn't see him like stopping or anything like that. There he is, back of the group now. So he's right at the back. Let's get a closer look and see if there's anything going on, or if he's just chosen to sit back, let everybody else sort of scramble. All the GC riders chase each other while ignoring him as a true GC contender, considering what's still to come tomorrow with the summit finish. But that's a big change from what we saw a moment ago.
Well, is he playing a canny game? Filippo Ganna goes to the back. They're all looking around at the bottom of the hill to see what it is they've done and what it is they've achieved. This man Frederik de Vesnes in the break all day, right from the beginning of this 205 kilometre stage. Number 200 kilometres in his legs out front in a 7-rider group, whittled down by degrees to 6, then 5, then 3, and now just 1 out front is going to be the last man standing, and visited by a very, very small and select group. He took the top points for what that's worth, and it's not of any great consideration. But look at this, Jai Hindley just floating off the front of the group. Peo Bilbao is thereabouts as well, and indeed Tiberi, his teammate, just in front. Tiberi looking for Bilbao. They setting up for Bilbao. Can do a bit of a finish amongst non-sprinters. They've still got to catch this man. Well, they haven't caught him yet.
Both Tiberi, not as fast as Bilbao, so he would be the logical one to go for. All spread across the road. There's a lot of looking around as if to say, well, who is going to do the work? Everybody wants to try and win this stage, and there's not enough domestics. Aramburu is still here and goes ahead with Aino Rubio in his wheel.
Yeah, Aramburu can sprint a little. Inside 3 kilometres remaining of great Muri stage of Tirreno-Adriatico. Alex Aramburu has hit the front, the Spanish national road race champion, in the top 10 this week on a couple of occasions. And can he repeat that? The national champion of Spain, and attacks firing off the front. No one's able to get control. No teammates there to do the chasing.
Hesitation once again, another counter-attack finally coming. They got so close to the back wheel of Diverseness, and then they all swung across the road. Absolute hesitation again, and now it's a counter from Sudal Quickstep, and number 142 is Matteo Cattaneo.
It's definitely a stage you would have thought for the rider who's good on a time trial, good on a rolling stage like this. Got over the climb pretty well. Still very much in there is Mathieu van der Poel. Does he have the teammates available to him to try and close this one down?
Gunner back into second wheel now, so briefly dropped to the back of the peloton, rode his way all the way back to the front, and just being marked by a rider from Uno X on his wheel, who has Diverseness still up the road. Cattaneo goes one.
De Plus, the climbing Belgian Ineos Grenadiers rider, as under the kite. 1,000 metres remaining, and it's a tricky final 1,000 metres, Robbie. This is not an easy one.
No, it kicks up. It is quite tricky, and all the way up to the line, the last 350 metres keeps on rising up, but it is a really good gap that Diverseness has got. He's giving everything now, hoping for hesitation, but there's another go from Pidcock, and Van der Poel goes with him.
So it's the big guns firing, but are they firing too late? Because it's Tom Pidcock that realises that if he doesn't do something now, it's all going to dribble away from them. And Roger Adria there as well to try and cover that one, as Mathieu van der Poel latched onto the wheel of Tom Pidcock. But into the final 500 metres, they're going to go all the way to the line from here, and he's looked so strong all day today. Frederik de Vesnes is starting to believe, and I think he could well have done enough. Has he done enough? The firepower coming behind. Filippo Ganna has got a mechanical problem and is dropping back, but presumably will get bunch time, or is it a hilly stage? Well, not to be decided afterwards, so they've got to I'm not so sure he's going to get the time of the group that he was in, but it is Diverseness that's going to come through. He's got time to celebrate. Final 150 metres. What a stunning effort. The breakaway has survived today, and Norway's favourite Uno X rider Frederik Diverseness has his arms in the air. It's a stunning success, a first World Tour success, a stunning effort, and he can finally let the rage subside as Mathieu van der Poel, frustratingly for him, wins the battle from the group behind. But it's not for the glory on the day. He won't add to his total of successes, and well, it's a broken rear mech, I think, by the looks of things, for Filippo Ganna. Frustration for the man in blue, not able to contest for the glory, but Diverseness hung on, and Tobias Halland up to celebrate with him. What about that?
That is absolutely brilliant by Diverseness. Best classified in the group all day, copping heat all day long as well from Dries de Bont, and finally able to ride away from them on the climb. But the gap that he had was so tiny at the end, and they almost had him, and then suddenly they didn't. Gunner coming in, and I just, on one of the Shimano neutral spares bikes, which is a couple of sizes too small, I just wonder what the ruling's going to be. If you have a puncture or a crash, yes, you receive the time of the bunch you're in. But it just